Welcome to Bourbon with Bros. Live bourbon and the stories are meant to be shared. Yeah, it's Bourbon with Bros. Stories get bold. Little truth and a little soul. Back porch laughs and tales untold. Pour one up with Bourbon with Bros.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Welcome to episode 4, Bourbon with Bros. We got another special guest here tonight, Bryant Palmer. He's Big Dawg Whiskey, and he's going to share some great knowledge of bourbon with us tonight. So we're looking forward to this episode. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Bryant?
All right. Big Dawg Whiskey. A lot of people call me Bryant. Trying to get a little bit going on YouTube. For all my people that might see this from TikTok, make sure you are following this channel. Good guys, love sharing whiskey, and just a lot of fun time. So got into whiskey probably right around 2019, 2020, and with COVID. My wife bought me Uncle Nearest, and it was on Oprah's greatest things list, so she got me the bottle, and I'm like,
thank you, Oprah.
Yeah, and I was a Crown Royal whiskey drinker, and I tried Uncle Nearest, and I'm like, hey, maybe there's other whiskeys out there for me to try. So I went down the path of bourbon. I'm enjoying it. My wife's probably thinking, why the heck did I get him all into whiskey? So,
what have I done?
Right, absolutely. So,
all right. We've got a bunch of questions here. I got to pull my phone out, but I know this is something I've been looking forward to. We started this it was just kind of on a whim, and we talked about it a year or 2 years ago, and then Chris's daughter mentioned something to us about, hey, you guys should do this. You guys are funny when you get together and do this. So we said, we're going to do it. And it's just something I've been looking forward to. And I know you have been a great friend, and you've influenced me on a lot of the bourbon stuff that we do. And we tailgate together on all the Browns Holmes games.
Go Browns.
And yes, sir. So
tell me why you opened your phone then. I got a gift for Big Dawg here. I don't know if you noticed that the other day, he asked you what your logo was, right?
Oh, wow. That's awesome. That is I swear, I've been thinking about getting one of these, and this is absolutely amazing. So I really appreciate it. This might, hopefully my wife isn't watching, but hopefully she is. But this might be my best and favorite gift this year. So thank you. Now, this is awesome.
Toby, if you can throw it up on that easel right there for the episode.
We'll display this during the show.
Oh, that's awesome.
And also, while he's doing that, let's talk about our first pour. Toby, what'd you bring?
Well, I brought the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, the batch B524. It's an 11-year, 2-month. It's 130.6 proof.
Oh, it's very nice pop.
Nice pop. We'll start over here with Jim. Go ahead and pour yourself.
Poor Toby's like he pours yours.
Yeah. Toby's not allowed to pour anymore because we all die when he pours. I mean, legitimately. For everybody out there, legitimately.
That's what I said. We're here to drink bourbon, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we do. So
exactly.
There's 2 for you right there.
Yeah. So legitimately, for everybody out there,
look at that.
When you see Elijah Craig Barrel Proof on the shelves, dollar for dollar, if you love high proof whiskey, this is one of the best values in bourbon. I mean, they come strong 3 times a year. It's usually between 10.5 to 12.5 years old. Always 125 to 135 proof, and for all the complaints people want to throw towards Heaven Hill, this is one they do well, and it's one that consistently tends to hit.
And I love that what you said, consistently hits. It always hits. It's a very consistent product. Their single barrels are always good also, But if you're looking for a barrel strength batch product that is going to be a banger for you, you can't go wrong with these. Yeah, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, I managed to get my hands on one of their private barrel proof toasteds.
Okay.
And that is just like, oh, come on, where has this been my whole life?
Well, Jim is our resident nose guy over there, so we'll get his first view.
A lot of vanilla. And a little ethanol on this.
What was the proof on this one?
130.6, I believe.
It doesn't nose that hot.
I was thinking the exact same thing. I was nosing it, and that was the question I was waiting to ask, because it noses like at 120-ish. So I can't wait to try it. I haven't tried this one.
We do this all the time. We all drink at the same time and nobody's talking.
No, you know, we're rookies.
Yeah, that's one of the things like we've talked about. You've seen our previous shows. Chris and I, we can pick up some smell, but we don't know exactly what that is. So that's one of the things we're going to work on here in the future. Jim got us a little thing to kind of train our noses and learn how to do that stuff. And I know, in tailgates we've talked before, and I know you are good at this. Would you pick up on those?
Got some caramel on there. I could tell it was plus 10 years because I got the oakiness. I also got that oakiness on the palate. You could tell that this is an older product.
Yeah.
What I can tell you, one of my favorite things when I drink an older high proof whiskey is that drying, puckering. I got a little bit of that on this, but on the nose, just like you said, vanilla, caramel, the sweetness coming off, the oak, just a lot of good things coming off of the nose.
Yeah, to me, this doesn't drink 130 proof. Just like this doesn't nose 130, it doesn't drink 130. You definitely feel the proof, but it's not, that River Roots Triple Oak downstairs that we had, it was 135. That drank hot. This is a much more approachable bourbon.
Right. Yeah, this is.
I don't know, this drink's 130 for me.
Well, it has some heat. I agree. But 130, I agree. 120-ish.
Yeah. Nobody's confusing this for Basil Hayden.
Yeah.
No. It's definitely not like our last episode, the 90 proof, the double oak that we had. That was delicious. And you could tell that it was 90 proof, and you can tell this is 130, but it doesn't, like Jason said too, I feel, it doesn't feel like a 130.
I agree.
Well, and you can tell the difference in the higher proof too in the finish, right?
Oh, yeah.
We talked about that Woodford double, that finish kind of stayed in the mouth and kind of radiated. This one, you get that Kentucky hug all the way down. You feel it right down into your stomach, and it's, I kind of wish it was 30 degrees colder outside, because this would warm you up right now.
I think those St. Bernards are wearing this around there.
I would happily get lost in the Swiss Alps if I knew a St. Bernard was bringing me this.
Second sip, even better than the first. That first one, it gave you that Kentucky hug. Like you knew you were drinking something that was older, sweetness. You could tell it's high proof, but that second sip, it just mellows out in your mouth, goes down, long finish, just a really nice pour.
Yeah, that finish, and I'm always one that I talk about the finish all the time, because I get that. It's there, and it stays there, and it's a long finish.
Right.
And I enjoy it.
What are some of your favorite, what's your everyday pour, and what's something you would definitely recommend or tell people that, are just into this to go after?
All right, so just into it is, for me, every day, if you're just into it, if you can find an Old Forester single barrel 100 proof, I think it's a really great starter. It has great cherry flavors, just a soft finish, They're very consistent products. They're the Old Forester with the black labels. Like, if you want something that's really good that goes, I'm in the bourbon and I have something special, that Old Forester black label does it. They're not, you're not going to find one every day, but they're not hard to find either. So a little bit of effort, you can find something like that. If I was, if I'm just gonna pour for me every single day, and I have a pretty decent inventory, and I just want something special. This 2025's George T. Stagg is just something special. It comes with what you just talked about in this glass. The age, the flavor, the proof, and it's a hazmat, and just oakiness, just great finish. It lasts forever, very oily, just viscous, just a great pour. So if you're just in the bourbon and you want a special pour, you want to get everything that's bourbon meant to be, and you're out somewhere. I'm not saying you're going to find that one, on the shelf.
Yeah.
But if you're out somewhere and you see it for $50 a pour, buy it. Treat yourself. It is a great pour and something that every time I see it, I love to have it. So
You brought it, the 23B to the tailgate downtown. one
yes,
time.
yeah.
And I still remember, like, I was smiling like a little kid when you got that. I'm like,
He was
oh my God.
like it was a baby.
Well, heck, I remember last year when you weren't able to go to a Browns tailgate, and my girlfriend and I used your tickets.
Okay.
As I was sitting there the night before trying to figure out what bottles I was going to bring to the tailgate, I'm like, I gotta bring bottles that are worthy of Big Dog. Because if I don't bring the right bottles, I feel like I didn't honor it.
We have to maybe get something out there on the lake and just do a tailgate and talk about a tailgate.
Oh, yes.
It's
for
gonna
this.
happen.
But we have pretty good bottle shares at tailgates.
Yes, we do.
We're down on the lake. We're getting ready for a Browns game, and we pull out a Stag batch, and I think I brought 25B Stag this year.
Yep.
And we have a good time trying good bourbon, and then we go watch the Browns play. So.
I've said this a couple times before, and there's times when I say I feel like we should just wait until we just continue the tailgate. We don't even need to go into the game. Let's just stay here and tailgate the rest of the time. We'll listen to the game on the radio or put it up on the TV or something on a phone and just go and just keep doing the tailgate, because that's where it's at for us.
Absolutely.
I mean the Browns games, sometimes they're fun, but most of the times they're just depressing and they make us want to drink more. So.
Well, so, Bryant, you mentioned bottle shares.
Mm-hmm.
I know you do not just bottle shares at the tailgates, but you do a lot of bottle shares in the clubs that you're in.
I do.
Talk to us a little bit about bottle shares and why, what they mean to you guys.
Bottle shares for me and the guys that are in our group, they're two things for us. It's expanded our collection. There's about 12 of us in the group. Probably in total, we have about 5,000 bottles or something like that. But it's expanded our collection because bottles that I don't have, one of my other friends has it, and bottles that he doesn't have, somebody else has that bottle. We have the opportunity, and as we talk about those bottles we don't have, I think about a week ago I went over to my buddy's house, from the Whiskey Sippers, and he just came back from deployment. He had a little girl while he was deployed, serving our country, and he's like, I just want to do something special for you guys. I've been going for a year. I missed out on everything, and he opened a Double Eagle Very Rare.
Oh, Lord.
And it is a bottle that I definitely do not have. And it was, just a great experience. So bottles we don't have. Two, it gives us a reason to open our bottles. So if you're just sitting there and, you have these wonderful bottles in your collection, I mean, I love it. I would love to see your background, but I'm not coming over. You can show me a picture of all your closed bottles.
Jason,
I love the selection.
Jason said that in our last episode. If you're gonna have bottles that just sit there as a collection, you might as well just buy a painting.
Absolutely.
Because there's no point in doing that. And that's our group. Our basis is it's meant to be shared.
Yeah.
I've got a sign I
You
put in.
have to drink the bourbon that you have, and it's.
Yeah, I've got a sign I put in for the bar that says it's a selection, not a collection.
Absolutely. Now, so that's my favorite thing. You know, before I was in the bourbon group, I had bottles, and I'm like, I'm waiting for a special occasion, and you know, every time you're hanging out with friends, it's a special occasion. So when I have the opportunity to take, you know, bottles to tailgate, I'm like, Toby, have you ever tried George T. Stagg? Oh, no. Oh, you're gonna have it. You know, hey, you ever tried the Weller Rainbow? How about I bring it and, you know, to tailgate?
Taste it.
And so when we're in the bourbon group, and you know, I hosted the night before the last Browns home game, and we opened a lot of good bottles. It gave me a reason to open any bottle. I'm like, if you see a bottle, let's open it, because if it's not open, that means that I may not have tried it either. So let's open everything. And we opened a lot of bottles that night.
Yeah, and I saw you just redid your shelving, your bar area, and like I said, if you don't follow Big Dawg Whiskey on TikTok, check it out.
Definitely, you should.
Drink.
Yeah.
Drink.
Follow him, because it is amazing.
That's the rule. Every time somebody says follow, like, or share, you gotta drink it.
I got an early one in there, right? So
Unfortunately, it was empty. So
All right, well, let's rate this one while we're in a space here.
We'll tell Bryant here. We do our rating on a 1 to 4 bros scale. So
Okay.
there's 4 bros, but when we have a special guest, we're gonna go 1 to 5.
Okay,
So
all right.
Let's do rate your opinion on this on a scale of 1 to 5. We'll start with Jim tonight.
Well, everybody's gonna be disappointed in me because I know everybody's gonna rate this way higher than me. I'm not a Heaven Hill fan. Something about the mash bill just doesn't sit right on my tongue. So scale from 1 to 5, I'm like maybe a 3-5 at best.
That's fair. Understandable, yeah.
Everybody drink what
Everybody's
you like.
palate is different, that's for sure. So there's no judging on that. So myself, I enjoy this, and I've said this before. I like the higher proof stuff. Again, I might not be able to smell it, but I can taste it, and I'm right there about a 4.1, 4.2 with this, just because it has that flavor there, and I've had a sip in a few minutes here, and it's still there. So that's what I love about this. You don't feel like you have to take another drink right away. You can enjoy it much longer.
All right, and as I look at this, I love everything about this pour. I love the proof point. I love the flavors that I'm getting off of it. I'm gonna have to go 3.9. You know, as I look at it, it doesn't hold up to some of the other batches of Elijah Craig, but it's above average for the batches of Elijah Craig. So I'm thinking a 3.9 on it.
Yeah, I'm not too far off from both you guys. I mean, Elijah Craig barrel proofs are one of my favorite pours out there. You know, it's $1 for $1. It's one of the best values in high proof bourbon you can get. I mean, obviously the C923 is the OG, right? That one is Valhalla. The B524 is one of the better batches I've had since then. You know, it blows the A124 out of the water. The A924 that I've got at home is pretty decent too, but this one I'd give it like a 4.1. It could have a little bit more kick to it, but this is definitely a solid pour.
Absolutely.
You getting off all the A, B, 2, 3s, doing military codes. For me, you know, I'm not a big high proofer guy, but this went down pretty smooth for 130 to me. It sits a little hot on the front of the tongue, but not going down the throat, which I like. I'm with Jim. I am not a Heaven Hill fan. Just, the regular Heaven Hill, we did the tour, and everybody that I was there with was spitting it back out when we went through, but I was drinking it, and my wife's like, "Do you like that?" And I said, "No, but I'm not gonna waste it."
Well, remind me not to crack the Heaven Hill 20 when you two boys are.
Well, that might be a different story, but the regular one they were serving at the distillery. But I'm gonna probably put this at just for those who like what I like and things. I'm gonna put this at about a 3.6 or a 3.7. It's still a good pour for me. It's just not something I would break open all the time.
And I have to jump in with you guys on your Heaven Hill. You don't hate it, but you don't love it either. So so the one pour that I am not a fan of, and I can even go on record for saying I hate it, is the Four Roses single barrel pick not the pick, but the batch single barrel that they put out. It's on the shelf all the time.
Yes.
That is just not my favorite Four Roses. It's 100 proof, it's a single barrel, and it is a drain pour for me. And you never hear me say that about any whiskey. I've had some bad whiskey. That one, I can't even stomach a glass of it. And I had the fortune to do a barrel pick at Four Roses, and I told Mandy, who does their picks, I'm like, "Hey, I just don't like your 100 proof single barrel pick." She's like, "Well, we'll see." Well, after we go through the first round for the barrel picks, I'm like, "Hey, we got to get rid of number 4. I don't like it." It makes it to the second round. I'm like, "Hey, I don't like it." And it gets to the third round, and finally it gets voted out. Afterwards, she goes, "You really don't like that recipe, do you?" And I'm like, "I didn't know that was the recipe, but whatever that one was, I did not like it." So I get what you guys are saying about having some things that just aren't your favorites.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about the mash bill. Just, it doesn't rank anywhere in my top 20 bourbons that I want to drink.
Absolutely.
Yeah, everybody's palate has their differences. I mean, there's bourbons out there that people go running after. I mean, it's not allocated anymore, but remember when the McKenna 10 was allocated?
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to get that. To me, I'd rather go lick wallpaper than drink a McKenna 10.
See, I like McKenna 10.
Exactly. See? And I'm loving the CCBP, and it's not your favorite.
And that's why,
that's the
on
cool thing about this.
On our website, we have, all of our picks that we're doing on there. And when we drink, we're rating them. And you can go and follow what we're liking. And then you can turn around and say, "Hey, I like Jim's picks better than I like Chris's."
Okay.
Or Toby's like the higher proof. I want to hear what Jason and Toby got to say about the higher proofs. So, and
Yeah, that's another thing that talk about the website a little bit more. That my son told me, he said, as for everything we're doing, he thinks that what we have there with that rating system on there is the best thing we got going. He compared it to I don't know, it's something with the movies. Letterboxd, I think is what he called it. It's an app where anybody that watches a movie can go and rate what they think about this movie on this app. And he said this is very comparable to that. So he thinks that's something that is very compelling for him. He thinks he wants to see us talk about that more. And Jim setting that up, I think, is beneficial for us. And the more people that go to that, and whenever you taste it, go to our website and put that information in there, and it's gonna be a good deal.
They can put their own rating in there
exactly.
too, and people can follow them and see what they like. So
Don't make me feel older than I am. Jesus.
Grandpa over there.
I don't think I feel.
It's what the kids say.
These young kids will get off my lawn!
Old man yells at clouds.
So, B, you mentioned about you didn't like that Four Roses. What's one mash bill that you tend to gravitate towards that you might be one of your favorites?
From Four Roses or from any distillery? So I know it's gonna sound cliche, but I am a mash bill 1 fan from Buffalo Trace. you give me anything along that mash bill. You know, I've outgrown the batch products of you know, Buffalo Trace and the batch products of Eagle Rare. So most of the ones that I drink are store picks batch one. If you could get a store pick Buffalo Trace, a store pick Eagle Rare, a store pick Taylor. I love the batch proof of Stags, but the store proofs of Stag Junior, oh my God, these are, you know, so I am a batch one fan. I love that mash bill, and I tend to gravitate towards it. The cherry notes, I get cherry on all of them. It's the higher proof it goes, the more cherry you get, but it's just a good drinker. You know, the hype is true for Buffalo Trace. I know a lot of people tend to hate on it, but it is one of the best products, and they sell a lot for a reason.
Yeah, I agree. Well, and you've had the fortune to do a good amount of barrel picks too.
Mm-hmm.
So talk to us a little bit about like, the process of it. I mean, what do you love about doing barrel picks?
So, you know, what I really love about doing barrel picks is a few different things. One, I get to kind of compare my palate to other people that are in the room. That I get to see what they like, what they think about it. Am I on par with the rest of the room, or am I just way in left field? I love getting to try a lot of different whiskeys, but the same whiskey. You know, I just recently did a barrel pick of Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof Rye, and I tried. We had 4 different samples with that Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof Rye. All 4 of them tasted very different. The one we selected turned out amazing, and but just you have the same whiskey from 4 different barrels. They all taste differently. So just being able to find those flavors, and it just helps me to hone my palate and go, okay, I get banana on Jack Daniels, and if you have never gotten banana on Jack Daniels, then the barrel picks will help you to be able to do that. So some are more banana forward than others. So,
Right. The next question I think is what trends in bourbon right now that interest you?
you know, I could tell you the trend that is probably the most interesting to me right now is how saturated the market is. Bottles that were once very hard to get are becoming more and more available. You know, I don't know what the cause is. I know some of the, you know, all these distilleries ramped up production to try to keep up with demand. And now that some of those rick houses are finally maturing, where you're now starting to see E.H. Taylor small batch sitting on shelves, and you know, Weller Antique is becoming more available to other states besides Ohio. And you know, if you guys don't know, everybody calls Ohio the land of Weller. We get more Weller Antique and more Weller Special Reserve than anywhere else. Well, it's starting to level out, and other places are starting to see it. So some of those bottles that were harder to get are becoming more available. The other trend that I'm seeing is because bottles are more available, we're starting to see a slide in the secondary market finally. So things that you know, at one point, George T. Stagg was right around $1,200 or $1,000. Starting to see it for $400 to $450, which is, you know, the market really correcting itself. So some of those things that were really out of reach are becoming more available. Higher inventories are good things for consumers like us, where we can get those in and we can share them, and we can open them up, and we can enjoy things that were once out of reach.
Cool. Do you think that has something to do with people gravitating towards the tequilas and the vodkas now, since they're really crafting themselves?
Yeah, I do. There are a lot of people that are into the tequila market, and I am not a huge tequila fan. However, if you get a really good tequila, you get some of the same characteristics that you do from bourbon. So I've had some good tequilas, and I'm like, well, maybe am I a tequila guy? I don't know, but
Especially because so many tequilas now are aged in bourbon barrels.
Absolutely,
You get those same notes, those same flavors.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you're like, I didn't know I was a bourbon guy until I was a bourbon guy. Maybe I'm a tequila guy and I don't know I'm a tequila guy yet. So.
Or maybe I'm just an alcoholic.
right. That could be a thing.
That is probably a thing. So.
Actually,
This is not an admission, let's just make that perfectly clear.
But we are Bourbon with Bros, so I think little segue right there. What else we got here, Chris?
Well, this is actually something that Jason got that I traded him for just for this night. But Jason, you got that secondary though, didn't you?
No, I got that MSRP.
You did? Where'd you pick that up at?
So I got that direct from Rising Tide Spirits when they released it. This is the first batch of the Old Swagger 12-year. So this is a bottled in bond. This is a blend of 14 different 12-year-old barrels. It's MGP distillate, but it's Rising Tide Spirits out of West Virginia. So the head blender, head distiller at Rising Tide is a guy by the name of Ed Blay. And Ed, for the longest time, Ed, 7 years running, was the #1 barrel pick guy for Wild Turkey. So he's got a palate like no other. So if you ever heard of Old Stubborn, Old Swagger, this is the guy behind it. They really have specialized in really taking different barrels and finding a way to make it intentional, find a way to make it controlled, almost kind of find a way to make it elegant. It's phenomenal stuff. The bottle on this one especially is just gorgeous. It's a hand-blown glass bottle. Typically my usual mantra is that the bottle's cool looking, the juice inside sucks. This is the exception to that rule. Yeah, pot still, exactly. But this is a total differential to it. I mean, when I first cracked the Old Stubborn batch one when I first had it, it was like the scales fell off my eyes and I was totally opened up to a new variety of bourbon. This one, in my opinion, is a phenomenal pour.
I took advantage of Jason one night when he was drunk and stopped the story right there.
Okay, so in fairness, you had the Old Fit 7, and you gave a pour to my girlfriend, and she loved the Old Fit 7. So you made the offer of, I will give you the rest of the Old Fit 7 for the rest of your Old Swagger, plus your 23B stag.
Well, but you gave me.
I also gave you a
I gave you a
23C.
25B
Yeah.
or 25C for the 23B because that's my favorite one.
Yeah. So okay, maybe I got rugged, but
So who won that trade there?
Well, you know, the only thing that I'm really, really disappointed about, I was invited to that bottle and I couldn't make it. And Chris, like, I might have walked away with everything because like, you took advantage of him a little bit. So I really hate that I didn't make that bottle share.
you know, I could complain about being overserved, but I was the one pouring.
Right,
so.
right.
Oh yeah, and I took home a 2-ounce pour of the Pappy 15.
You did.
I really took advantage of it.
Winner,
2 ounces. 2 ounces.
It was full. I filled
2
that
ounces.
sucker.
It was that big, but it was only that big around. What are you gonna do?
You know, I know people always talk about, you know, the FOMO and fear of missing out, you know, getting a good bottle. I think my fear of missing out is missing out on a really good bottle share. And I missed out that night, and you're sending me pictures, and I'm like, oh, yeah.
Oh, there will be another. There will be another.
Look, he sends me pictures of his bottle share. I feel the same way every time he sends me the pictures. So I'm like, and I gotta share with these guys all the time. Like, look at this, look what he's doing.
This is heaven on the nose.
Really is.
This is definitely when I pull the caramel off right off the top.
I'm getting caramel. I'm getting the red fruit, a little bit of the baking spice.
Some of the tobacco actually is pretty prominent on this.
I'm getting tobacco, I agree.
It's like a cherry cigar.
It does.
Oh. And
Look at you. Look.
Yes,
Coming alive.
The cherry on this it's so cherry forward. Like, you know, it's one of the first things to jump off. So I'm glad you said that, Chris. Like you just smell it. It's like somebody, not like that cherry what was it? The Eagle Rear Cherry.
Cherry Rare. That is not the same. That piece of shit is gonna be the albatross on my neck to the day I die.
I actually want to try that. So I can't wait to get to come over and try that one day, only so that I can just see the pain that all of you have been through.
So you can accurately crap all over it.
Right.
Watch our second podcast and actually try it down there.
We'll have it the next time you come visit.
It's not good.
I still have a whole bottle I haven't even cracked yet.
That's funny. Hey, when you think you're getting something good, you're like, I want a backup.
Oh.
And sometimes getting a backup is a mistake.
Yes, I was. There's regret and there's that.
Jim regretted not getting that Dickel store pick, and
Yeah.
Jason regrets getting a second bottle of the.
Yeah, there's a guy in Kansas who owes me an apology.
Right.
This is tasty.
Well, you know what? Guy from Kansas, if you're watching, you don't have to apologize, but make sure you follow. Drink. That's a drink.
But I'll give him credit. He marketed the hell out of this thing. It's got the glory tube. It's got the shiny label. It came with cherry candy. It came with everything. But ugh.
2 episodes ago, we did the Kansas Voodoo,
Yeah.
and I know we shared that with you one night.
Yes.
Toby brought you
Yep.
two couple of pours one night. And, that's
It was an away Browns game, and we didn't have a tailgate. We just met at a place and brought that down.
Yes.
We were sitting in a restaurant and not supposed to bring that in there, but we did.
Absolutely.
And they said, "Hey, I saw what you did, but I don't care."
Right.
How many tailgates would you guys say you've done together over the years?
Oh my God. I don't know that answer.
No, I would say. I mean, it's
50 plus?
It's approaching 60, 70. I would say at least.
I've had season.
7?
Yeah.
6, 7, yeah.
I've had season tickets since I believe 2019-ish.
I started. I hate to admit this. 2016. Right before that 0-16 season.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Hey.
So
I grew up a Lions fan. We did 0-16 before it was cool.
Yeah.
was it ever cool?
But you guys have been to our tailgates, and so
yes.
we talk about where we are now, and Toby's out doing breakfast, and I try to do lunch, and there's a whole bunch of bourbon in between. I remember when we were out there tailgating with like one grill with a glove print on it, and Rich Green, and we're trying to figure out, hey, we didn't even know how to really unpack this thing and get it going. Toby does some camping, so he was like, hey, Toby, put this together. He's putting grills together in the parking lot of a Browns tailgate. So we've come a long way since then. So we've been tailgating together maybe 2017, 2016. So it's been a while.
yeah, it's been fun, and it's gonna keep getting more fun.
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to doing it again next year. Like I said, I mean, it's just like this. It is. You get together, we have a good time. And then, at the end of the day, usually it's not very fun, but we had fun early.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I know most of the rest of you guys have known each other for at least some time. This is my first time actually meeting Bryant. Why do they call you Big Dog?
Cause Jason's a pretty big guy. He looks kind of small in between us.
And look at this man's guns. Look at this man's guns, for crying out loud.
And a big guy like me, folks, when they don't know your name, hey, Big Dog, hey, and I've become Big Dog
Just
over the
generic
years.
Big Dog.
Just generic Big Dog, and then I just stayed with Big Dog, and everybody calls me Big Dog along the way. So.
Okay.
I would be remiss for not doing this. As a Browns fan, you gotta give me a dog check.
Give me a dog check.
Give me that woof woof.
Here we go, Brownies. Here we go. Ooh, ooh.
There we go.
There
See,
we go.
that's Big Dog right there.
All right, I got one that I really wanted, and I think Toby had it on his list too. But we know you as a bourbon hunter, right? Not the MILF hunter, but the bourbon hunter,
Yeah.
right? Like you find some really rare stuff.
I do.
What's kind of your secret in all that?
So I've done every avenue, and if you're a bourbon hunter in Ohio, sometimes it's just patience. And when I really started building my collection, I spent a lot of time sitting in my car, just kind of waiting for the store to open to be able to.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Yeah. So I spent a
You
lot
were
of.
there at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, that was me. I was there at 3 o'clock. And now that I have a couple bottles, I rarely, if ever, go out to wait before a certain time. Building relationships have been a good source. So not only, that people are always going to tell you, hey, go out and build relationships with store owners. I'll get to that one in a second. Sometimes it's building relationships with people that have the same hobbies as you do. So you meet people and they say, hey, I'm hearing, that there might be a special drop on Thursday. Well, those people that are telling you probably know. And I've been fortunate enough to meet a lot of them, make a lot of good connections with people that also go out and hunt bourbon. So usually I'm at the front of the line for those big drops because I've made some really good friends that enjoy the hobby like we do. But then third, not in Ohio as much, but out of state. Just really building some good relationships, and I remember walking into a store in Lexington. It's called the Poorhouse in Lexington. Small store. We're driving. Me and a couple of my friends are driving by, and when we drive by the store, shout out to Malik if you're watching. He does follow you guys.
All right.
Drink,
Following.
yeah, Malik.
Thanks, Malik.
But I go in his store and he's like, "Hey, would you like this bottle?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, I already have that one." He's like, "Well, what about this one?" And him and I talked, and he offered me all these bottles, and he confessed to me later. He's like, after you left my store, I called my distributor and was like, how can this guy have all these bottles that I offered him already? And he's like, his distributor's like, he's in a different market.
You made it a challenge.
Yeah. So Malik and I became really good friends. If there's some things I'm looking for, we can talk. He has a great store. I've met a lot of good people in the store, and Kentucky is very different. I've been in this store, and I might get an allocated bottle. An example, I bought a Parker's Heritage from him, and we're in the store, and all these guys are, just same reaction, like, oh man, I wish I got the Parker's Heritage. I would love to try it. And I'm like, well, let's try it. And we opened the bottle of Parker's Heritage in the store. That's what this is about. Built some really good connections. We've become really good friends, and that's how I am able to really just grow my experience and just keep getting good bottles.
So kind of off of this story, Brian and I, we traveled to Tampa this year for a football game, or last year for a football game, and we spent some extra days, and we did a little travel. We went to a little shop. What was the name of that bar?
Mad Pub?
Mad Pub, yeah. I think that's what it was
It was in
Madeira Beach.
Madeira Beach, yes.
Madeira Beach, Florida. And we walked in and we're looking at their bourbon menu, and Bryant starts asking some questions, and he's like, I don't know, let me get my manager. And he comes over and he's like, I don't know, let me get my general manager. And they come over and he starts asking some more questions, and Palmer talks to him and says, hey, let me run home and I'm gonna get some stuff here. And he brought some stuff from home, and there was a bottle from the Poorhouse that he had done a barrel pick with, it turned into a pretty incredible night.
Yeah.
That we just happened to stumble into the bar and found this, and it was fantastic. And before we even got there, we stopped at a place. We pulled up to a traffic light, and we see this building sitting in front of us. It said liquor on the side.
Right.
And we pull up, and I said, and we get out we pull in the parking lot. I told B, I said, look, how incredible would that be if we walk in here and find a unicorn, and he found a bottle that he'd been in search for.
The only one I didn't have. So yeah.
So what was
Let's
that?
get that.
The Russell Reserve Rick House. So they have the C, B, E, and F. So I had B, E, and F. So I walk in and I look on the shelf and I'm like, that's the Rick House that I'm looking for. And you know, we're in there and I'm all giddy because it's a bottle that I really want, and I'm like, finally I'm like, I better calm down. Like, this guy's gonna charge me $1 million. So I just talking to the guy, I'm like, hey, I'm interested in that bottle, and it was marked at a very reasonable price, but I'm like, I don't want to pay that, and but it was a very reasonable price, and I'm like, hey, are you guys able to take anything off of that bottle? I don't know if I want it, but the guy's like, well, let me call my manager. And he calls, he's like, well, if you pay cash, we'll get it to you for this price. It was like $20 over MSRP. So 100%, I bought that bottle. And I was smiling the whole way to the beach. So, and it, like Toby said, it was just, we saw the store, it said liquor, and we stopped. So, sometimes you just get lucky. Sometimes it's about relationships. Sometimes it's just asking, hey, can you do us a little favor on that bottle? Can you bring the price down?
So we still gotta rate this one, don't we?
Yeah.
Oh, do we?
The Chris
Time to
starts
start
off.
with Chris.
Oh my goodness. Well, obviously I traded for this, but there was a reason, right? What is this again? 100 proof?
100 proof, bottle of mouth.
100 proof. So it's probably right in my wheelhouse on it. I love the cherry taste on it. I get a little bit of heat on the tongue, but nothing in the back end, right? But the flavor sits and sits. I mean, we've been talking for a while, and I've still got some in here. So, obviously that flavor sticks. I am, let's see, on the 5 scale, I'm probably gonna rate this at about a 4.3 for me. Like, this is gonna be near the top of what I like.
So for me, Rising Tide Spirits is one of my favorite distilleries on the planet. Between Old Stubborn and Old Swagger, I love everything they do. For me, this is a 4.7.
Wow.
This
That's a big score.
is, you give me the choice of any bottle in my collection, this is what I'm gonna go to every time.
It's like a 9.4, like for most people out there. That's a huge
I feel
score.
guilty for taking a second little pour of this.
Hey, it's his now. Feel guilty all you want.
Drink as much as you want.
Shotgun that thing, I don't care.
So for me, and probably the one thing that I wish we had tried this before the Elijah Craig, because that Elijah Craig just really punches you in the face. 130 proof, even though I still think it drinks a little bit lighter. So it's, in my opinion, I think it may be muting some of the notes on this, and I would love to try it as a starter.
You need a palate cleanser.
Yeah, and I did try to cleanse my palate before this.
You just sorbet?
Yeah. But it's very cherry forward, and I think I might have mentioned I'm a big fan of the cherry flavors. I like the softness of it, very subdued palate. I'm gonna go 4.1 on this. I think it's really good. I would love to try it before we get into a barrel proof product.
Yeah. I feel you there. So I feel like, just based off of my palate, what I enjoy, this is about a 4.6 to 4.7, 4.6 for me. But and the reason for that is it's one of those that is, you don't get this very often, and it's one of those things that you're going to enjoy, but it's something that is just mellow, and you can, I don't know. I feel like it's you're, I don't know, I lost my train of thought there, so anyway.
We got you.
We bored you too much? Did you give a number?
Yeah, 4.6.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright, so this is so heavy honey finish. It's almost like a mead to me. It's almost like a cherry mead. I'm kind of up in the air. I do not like mead generally, but I think the cherry just pushed it up a little bit. So I'm gonna say it's like a 4-1 for me.
Nice.
So I'm not near as high as some of you guys are, but
I would love to jump into this as a starter,
yeah.
or at least maybe not a starter, but before we drink a barrel proof product, I think we would be able to give
Start with a 90, then bump into this.
Yeah. So I think this would give us a better take on
And
this.
normally we try to do.
Yeah, this is so good though, but I just would love to see it, before the barrel proof.
Normally we try to do proof, like a couple times we've done like just 90s or the higher hazmats and stuff. This was kind of, I mean, that one was because I knew you wanted to have it and we brought it tonight, but.
And it did not disappoint. Like, I am so happy to be able to try this one. It's just so good.
Well, B, we appreciate you joining us, and
Absolutely.
I know we're gonna have you back.
Good.
And we want you to come back and join us. One last question I wanna squeeze in here. If you could have, and this is something I've wanted to do, I've asked other people, but never on film here. If you could have a pour bourbon with anybody in history, forever, who would it be?
A pour bourbon with anybody in history. That's deep. Oh,
I like
man.
that, doesn't it?
I mean, that would just be a really interesting thing. I'm gonna just go out on a limb and just say, because I just wonder how he would be drinking bourbon. I would love to have a pour with President Obama, just to sit down and talk with the president, and just that, I don't know if he even drinks, but just to have a pour with a president, I would love to have a pour. I want to have a pour with President Obama, but I want to go out drinking with George Bush. Like he just seems like he's so much fun. Like, so a pour with President Obama, a night out drinking with President Bush.
Obama drinks. He was in our local pub here in Ziggy's.
Yeah.
Shut that down and have beer with everybody.
So pour with Obama, and then a night out drinking with Bush.
Right.
So that would be my goal.
Right. I appreciate you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you having me.
Join us the next time. Looking forward to seeing you guys again.
Follow us on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, where you can find this podcast. Thank you for joining, and remember, it's meant to be shared.
and Chris gets his mouth feel.
Bourbon brothers on our way up, sharing every sip, sharing every cup, everybody.